Welcome to Invest. We'll talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 9:27 a.m. on the Eastern Time on June 12th on Sunday on the East Coast, Ethereum's currently at $1,459, that about close to 5% so far. Respect over crypto market on this Sunday morning, we are still, in a decline across the board, as investors have historically digested what have happened on Friday, which we have that negative CPI report as the first macro factor, and then subsequently as the day durates, obviously, with the weekend affectation, heading on to the FOMC meeting, which we will, get some preliminary type of indicator or confirmatory signal on what Jerome is going to be indicating going forward, right? And with the negative CPI report, the likelihood or the propensity for Jerome Powell to increase the interest rates by another 50 basis point again to reach to 75 basis point is going to be more and more likely, right? And as you know, as you increase the interest rates, it will have a negative correlation among the entire financial market, which subsequently drive, some selling pressure across the board. And we are in this kind of weird funk and in this conundrum that, I wish the FOMC meeting was, didn't have this like large time period of separation from Friday all the way until obviously this coming up on Wednesday as a confirmatory signal. So that kind of elongated the negative pressure by 5 days, subsequently drive investors to, firstly, with respect to fear mongering, right? Are we going to reach to lower levels because of inflationary pressure? And are we on the verge of recession, which is, becoming more and more imminent as the day durates, right? So we have that negative anticipatory pressure combined with what has historically been negative evidential support onto investors stitching this negative sentiments on as we're heading on to this new week, if you may, right? And also with respect to Joe Biden, he has made a public speech recently on Friday, basically bashing ExxonMobil on their cannibalization with respect to oil prices, right? Obviously, they are oil giants, and Joe Biden's verbiage was relatively frustrating, right? Saying that their profit must be bananas, they're making more money than God, saying quotes like that. I mean, that's coming from the president, right? And it is true, right? We see the oil and gasoline prices risen to be astronomical number, right? $125 per barrel. But regionally, on just like a national perspective, in New York City, for example, which is where I live, there are some selective gas station that's charging like $6.50 for a gallon, or $7 for a gallon even. So which is bananas number, right? If you are driving. So with that being said, negative CPI report, rising price in consumer goods, raising the rates will be more and more likely. Investors are digesting this. Lack of tactical next steps from the Feds and obviously from the administration. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of progression, driving more sell-off, right? And then lastly, with respect to more of a lingering affectation, is with respect to the leverage problem that we're also having among crypto investors. Are crypto investors utilizing debt, or they're borrowing money, leveraging like 5x, 10x to be buying crypto? And as we reach to a certain level, right, the margin call will kick in, and that will force a large liquidation events to happen, similar to what you saw, a couple weeks ago with respect to the Luna collapse. So if we see something similar to that, reaching to, a really steep level, downward, can be impossibility. So we'll dive into technical to see what's happening, okay? So respect to recording time of 9:31 a.m. on the Eastern Time. We are at 1450 at the moment, which is the next substantive consolidated level. That's exactly why. You could see that clearly we have broke through multiple resistance level below, right? First level was the 1700, which is a flat number, and then you went down to 1650, and now you can see that clearly as we spoke yesterday. 1550 is coming, and now we're at the next level, 1450, right? And then as we go down further, you're going to go down to 1367, and then you will have a relatively large separation to go down all the way to 1230 or like 1250, to just keep it easy for yourself. and then ideally somewhere around like the 1200, which you have some sort of consolidation. So something to also think about. But as you break below that, you're gonna come down to all the way to 1050, and then you have a mega leap down all the way to somewhere around 750. So I probably should draw a line here, but I'm not saying that we will get there. But anywhere from like 950 downward to 750 is a big separation. That's like a next pause before the next drop, right? If you look into historically, that was where we were landing before, okay? So something to think about. Do we see like 750 or like 950, right? I think that's a relatively steep level, and I think, you know, we're still far away from it, but we want to, like, you know, not be surprised, right? Be prepared that it could potentially happen if the liquidation events happens, and because of the fact this is only one of the two FOMC meeting and CPI report that we're hearing in the next 2 months, we still have another one in July, right? So we hope that we might progress, you know, after the some optimism coming from the leadership of Jerome Powell on this coming Wednesday. Like, let's just hope that will be the case, right? But ultimately, we form a death cross, so that technically was sufficient. I think going down to like somewhere around 1350 can be a possibility. Do we see like 1250? We'll see, right? Because I don't think the elongation for the MACD will be stretched out to be that like largely separated, knowing the fact that we're the 27 out of 70 right now. So again, I think the technical is like showing what it's supposed to be doing. We're basically gliding at the comfortable level. So we'll see when is the negative apex going to be formed, like the valley, when it's going to recuperate back up, and when will the RSI line start to recuperate back up. And you can see that clearly every single time we reach it around these levels, especially from historicals, like at the 25 out of 70 we rebound. So I think like we're kind of near it right now. Like 1450 is not a terrible dip to be buying at the moment. Respect to Bitcoin, down about 3.7%. So right now in between levels, right, 28,500 was the first one. Second one was 27,500, which is where we at right now. The third level will be somewhere around like 25,500. So you see that we formed a death cross recently. So we will ideally glide down a little bit more, but you can see that historical resistance level was at 24. So I think Bitcoin might have a little bit of room to go down further, but it's a lot more stable in comparison to altcoin, obviously. Ethereum Classic down about 6.17%. So we're on the flat numbers, right? 20 again, right? 1850. Now we're at like 1650. So like trade on the intervals of twos. So the next level will be around 1520, right? Dogecoin down about 7.2%. Like all the flat numbers, right? We're like forming new lows altogether, right? 60, 65, 50, 55 respectively. So we are forming a death cross. So as you glide down, look for the negative apex, and then allow for the recuperation. And I think we are at the resistance level right now. So actually not terrible to incur some risk for Dogecoin if you believe in its long term. Cardano down about 8% so far. We're basically giving everything up that we have had gained before. Makes sense, right? Because we have a large separation. We have not formed a cross yet, so we need to do so. So I will start looking into it as we begin at around 45 cents below would be a good level DCA from here. Solana down about close to 9% so far. We broke below, so it's logical because we need to cross down. So it's unfortunately still have not crossed down yet. So I think ideally coming down to 30 all the way to 25 is logical from here. XRP down about 7% so far. All the flat numbers, right? We are basically matching with the flash crash level that we had before, but we're gonna see much lower levels definitely based on the current setup. We have to cross down and then cross up. So coming down to like 30 cents, 25 cents, 20 cents respectively is very logical. All the flat numbers, right? Polkadot down about 7.75% as well. We are in the mid sevens right now, so coming down further, we kind of have to cross down and cross up. So coming down to 7 cents, 6.5, 6 cents, $6, you know, respectively. Algorand's down about 6% as well, 33 cents at the moment. So all the flat numbers, right? 33, 32, 30, 25 respectively. you need to cross down and cross up. So I will look at the frames of the support. As you cross down, you're gonna get to a lower level, and based on the fact that we're new lows right now, we're gonna be like basically all the flat numbers, right? So something to look out for when it's gonna recuperate back up. Shiba Inu is at the 800 right now, so we're forming new lows again, but we unfortunately need to cross down further. So as you cross down, I think we're gonna reach to like much lower levels, to like the 700, 750, 600, because it's kind of giving up right now on the forming new bottoms at the moment. And then Polygon, it's up down about 5% so far. All the flat numbers are 50, 45, 40 respectively. Lastly, for AVAX, down about 10% so far. We are in new lows again. So, but unfortunately, you need to cross down, and then cross up. So all the new lows will be like 18, 17, 16, 15 respectively. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful in terms of like the frames of support or lack thereof, right? We're no longer trading fundamentally. We're trading basically on emotions and fear. People are liquidating, and something that's really scares me is with respect to, again, like the leverage problem that we're experiencing. So something to think about, right? Yeah, but I think as we get over these 2 months, right, this first FOMC meeting, the next CPI, and the FOMC meeting, we will have some cool downtime period, and that will recuperate back up. But in the meantime, I think we are on the opposite side of the extremity, right? So hopefully, you guys can stomach this a little bit, right? But stay cool, don't panic, and stick together, right? So appreciate you. Have a good Sunday, and let me know if questions. Appreciate you. Bye.